This is Inside Indiana Business Radio for the afternoon of Wednesday, October 11th, 2023. I'm Kate Sharon. The Chief Strategy Officer for the Indiana Economic Development Corporation says the outlook for the Northeast Indiana region is exceptionally strong. Ann Lathrop joined Secretary of Commerce David Rosenberg for a fireside chat at Tuesday's Engage Northeast Indiana event in Fort Wayne. Lathrop says she expects the region to continue to build on the success and investments that have been made over the last decade.
This area is uniquely situated between the new Carlisle plant with GM and Samsung SDI, as well as Kokomo, which is Stellantis and Samsung SDI, I think to really attract the great supplier base that is going to be coming with this new industry that we've attracted here to the state of Indiana.
Lathrop said she believes Northeast Indiana is primed to take advantage of the growing electronic vehicle supplier market. The Ports of Indiana has issued a request for information for manufacturers that could build and deliver a new heavy lift crane to the Ports of Indiana Mount Vernon. The RFI follows the award of a $2.25 million grant from the U.S. Department of Transportation that will help the port acquire the new crane. The Ports of Indiana is investing a total of $3 million to purchase the crane, which the Port Authority says will more than double the Mount Vernon Port's lifting capacity from less than 60 tons to 120. The Lebanon City Council on Tuesday night unanimously voted to approve the voluntary annexation of nearly 640 acres of land in Boone County for the LEAP Lebanon Innovation and Research District, a planned technology and advanced manufacturing hub of 9,000 acres or more. The City Council voted 7-0 to approve the annexation of 41 parcels of land, totaling 638 acres. 2 parcels, totaling about 4 acres that were originally part of the annexation plan, were pulled from the City Council's agenda. Scott Alexander, an attorney for the Indiana Economic Development Corporation, the state agency leading the development of the LEAP district, said last month the IEDC has secured more than 90% of the parcels needed to complete the district. From the #1 source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Whether it's a new hire or a noteworthy promotion, IIB's Bigwigs and New Gigs serves as a platform to promote your team. Our revamped offering includes being featured on both the newly redesigned newsletter and at InsideIndianaBusiness.com. Subscribers to the Business News subscription save $10 off every listing. Plus, you can save $100 by bundling your submission to IIB with the Indianapolis Business Journal or the Indiana Lawyer. More at InsideIndianaBusiness.com.
Indiana lawmakers on Tuesday reviewed the results of a first-of-its-kind request of higher education costs and debt data and found it lacking. IIB's Alex Brown has more.
The Indiana Legislative Services Agency says the data was riddled with holes from institutions unable to submit the desired data in the correct format or within the narrow time frame allowed and peppered with limitations. Policymakers should reframe their requests and allot more time for data collection, according to the nonpartisan agency tasked with conducting the analysis. The interim committee asked more than a half dozen public higher education institutions for student loan debts, alumni salaries, staff salaries, program provision costs, and more. It made its initial request in August and gave the institutions, including Ivy Tech Community College, Ball State University, and multiple Purdue University campuses, less than 6 weeks to hand over data in mid-September. Legislative Services Agency fiscal analyst Austin Spears cautioned lawmakers multiple times that the institutions often defined and recorded metrics differently, complicating his agency's attempt to compare data across institutions. Small program sizes at given degree levels also meant small and volatile sample sizes, he said. The agency also examined the cost to students to complete different degrees, with tables noting each institution's most and least expensive programs, but even that information came with caveats. The committee adopted a recommendation to have stakeholders convene and settle on parameters for data collection and to hopefully have that data before the group meets again next spring. Alex Brown, Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Purdue University Northwest will induct a new class into its Society of Innovators next week at the group's annual luncheon at the university's Westville, Indiana campus. Each were nominated for the recognition and reviewed by a selection committee comprised of local nonprofit, business, and education leaders. Innovators were chosen for their ability to propose a new solution or societal benefit that creates measurable value. The Indianapolis-based Damien Center will use a $2.5 million federal grant to launch a new intensive outpatient program. The program will provide a more intensive treatment plan for people with more need. The center currently has a once-a-week outpatient program. The new initiative will seek to especially help the LGBTQ community and minority populations. The organization said the CARE program will provide faster access to help and expand its medication-assisted treatment, HIV and hepatitis testing, and harm reduction kits. The center will hire 2 more therapists and 2 peer recovery specialists. Purdue University Fort Wayne has enrolled its largest group of first-year international students, with 182 from 22 countries. The university announced this week the increase is being attributed to expanded collaboration with the West Lafayette campus and more targeted recruitment and support. Overall, the campus has 499 international students from 62 countries. Of that total, 334 are graduate students and 165 are undergrads. Mel Raines, President and Chief Operating Officer of Pacers Sports and Entertainment, is this week's guest on the Business and Beyond podcast with Gary Dick, presented by PNC, a weekly conversation with high-profile Hoosiers in business, sports, and entertainment, and beyond. Available now from your favorite podcast provider. I'm Kate Sharon for Inside Indiana Business Radio on Demand.